Arms bare, legs bare. When did we lose all our fur?
Long ago. Before the cold ones. Before the hides.
Everything went bald except the fur on your face.
This is why the young ones don't fight me.
A face full of hair scares people? It's just hair.
Why keep it where every rival can see it?
Screaming what?
That's the whole story. It starts with why we went bare.
Right now, you're probably sitting there, and if you're a guy, there's a good chance you've got some stubble on your face. You touched it this morning. Maybe you shaved it, maybe you didn't. Maybe you cursed at it in the mirror, and you never once stopped to ask the obvious question. Your arms are basically bare. Your chest, your back, your legs, compared to a chimpanzee, you're practically naked. Humans lost almost all their fur somewhere in our deep past. So why out of every patch of skin on your body did your face keep its hair? Why did evolution strip you down to smooth skin everywhere else, then plant a thick beard right where everyone can see it? By the end of this video, you'll understand why that beard on your face isn't a leftover accident. It's one of the loudest signals your body still sends, and it's been screaming the same message for millions of years. Let's start with the thing everyone gets wrong. Most people assume body hair disappeared because we got clothes. We invented animal skins and fabric, so we didn't need fur anymore, and it just faded away. Clean story. It's also wrong. The timeline doesn't work. According to research led by Mark Pagel and Walter Bodmer, published around 2003, humans became naked long before we had any real clothing. We're talking well over 1 million years ago. Clothing shows up in the archaeological and genetic record much, much later. So we didn't lose our fur because we got dressed. We got dressed because we'd already lost our fur and got cold. Here's where it gets interesting. If clothing didn't strip us down, what did? The leading answer is heat. Our ancestors on the African savanna became endurance walkers and runners, chasing prey across open ground under a brutal sun. Nina Jablonski, the anthropologist who wrote Skin: A Natural History in 2006, laid this out clearly. Fur traps heat. Bare skin covered in millions of sweat glands dumps it. So we traded a fur coat for a cooling system. It let us do something almost no other predator could. Keep moving in the midday heat while everything else collapsed into the shade. That's the deal we made. Skin over fur. But that just makes the beard weirder, doesn't it? Now here's the part nobody talks about. If the whole point of going naked was to cool down, keeping a thick mat of hair on your face is the opposite of helpful. Your head is one of the hottest parts of your body. A beard, from a pure temperature standpoint, is a design flaw. So there had to be another force pulling in the opposite direction. Something powerful enough to override the cooling logic and say, no, keep the hair here specifically. That force has a name, and Charles Darwin figured it out over 150 years ago. In his 1871 book, The Descent of Man and Selection in Relation to Sex, Darwin argued that the beard wasn't shaped by survival at all. It was shaped by sexual selection. Traits that don't help you survive but do help you mate can spread through a population just as powerfully as traits that keep you alive. The peacock's tail is useless for survival. It's heavy and it's flashy and it practically invites predators. But peahens love it, so it stayed. Darwin put the human beard in the same category. Not a tool, a signal. Think about that for a second. Your beard has more in common with a peacock's tail than with your own eyebrows. So what exactly is the beard signaling? This is where modern science picks up where Darwin left off. A beard is what biologists call a marker of sexual maturity. Boys don't grow them. It arrives with testosterone at puberty, which means it's a visible, unfakeable announcement. This is a grown male, not a boy. In a world with no IDs, no birthdays written down, no way to check anyone's age, your face did the talking. Age, dominance, and maturity, all broadcast in one thick patch of hair before you said a single word. Here's where it gets interesting though, because we tend to assume the beard was always about attracting mates directly. Women see beard, women swoon. But the research complicates that neat little story. A 2013 study by Barnaby Dixon and Robert Brooks found that when women rated men's faces, full beards didn't actually score highest for pure attractiveness. Clean-shaven and heavy stubble often did better. But, and this is the twist, bearded men scored far higher on perceived age, social status, and dominance. In other words, the beard may not have evolved mainly to win over women. It may have evolved to intimidate other men. Let that sink in. The beard might be less of a love letter and more of a warning label. That reframes the whole thing. Picture two males sizing each other up before a conflict over territory, food, or a mate. A fight is expensive. Injury, exhaustion, and death are all on the table, and the winner often limps away nearly as broken as the loser. Anything that lets two males settle who's stronger without actually fighting is enormously valuable. The bigger jaw, the fuller beard, the more mature and dominant the face looks, and the more likely the smaller male backs down before anyone gets hurt. The beard becomes a bluff you wear on your face, a way to win the fight you never have to have. And there's a physical layer to this too. Some researchers, including work Ethan Becerris helped publish out of the University of Utah around 2020, tested whether beards actually cushion blows to the jaw. They built samples mimicking bearded versus bare skin and struck them. The fur-covered samples absorbed significantly more force before breaking. Now, that study got plenty of debate, and it's not the final word, but the logic fits a face that men have been punching for a very long time. The jaw is the knockout button. Padding it isn't the worst idea evolution ever had. Here's the modern punchline in all this. We spend billions of dollars a year on razors, blades, subscription shave clubs, and fancy oils to remove the exact feature our ancestors evolved specifically so it would be seen. Millions of years of biology built you a dominance signal, and you get up at 6 a.m. to scrape it off before a meeting. Somewhere evolution is filing a complaint. But here's the thing. The beard isn't the only piece of this puzzle. And to really understand it, you have to look at what we kept and what we lost. Because we didn't go fully bare. Look closely, and human hair follows a strange, specific map. We kept hair on the head, protecting the skull and brain from that same relentless sun. We kept it in the armpits and groin, where it's thought to help spread scent signals. Chemical messages our ancestors read without even knowing they were reading them. And men kept it on the face. Head, pits, and face, 3 zones that survived the Great Shedding, and not one of them survived by accident. Now here's a myth worth breaking. People love to say humans are hairless. You're not. You actually have roughly as many hair follicles per square inch as a chimpanzee. The difference isn't the number of hairs, it's that most of yours shrank down into tiny, fine, nearly invisible strands called vellus hair. Jablonski's work makes this point directly. You didn't lose the follicles. You just turned most of them down to a whisper, while a few select regions got turned all the way up. Your body didn't delete the fur. It rewrote where the volume knob points. So we've got a face that signals maturity, possibly intimidates rivals, maybe even cushions a punch. Practical, physical, evolutionary. But if we stop there, we miss the biggest part of the story. And this is where it stops being about biology alone. Because here's what's remarkable about the human beard. Unlike a peacock's tail, which the peacock is simply stuck with, we can control ours. We can grow it, shave it, shape it, dye it, braid it. And the moment a signal becomes controllable, it stops being just biology and becomes culture. The beard turned into one of the oldest canvases humans ever had for saying who they are. Ancient Egyptian pharaohs, including Queen Hatshepsut, who ruled around 1479 to 1458 BC, wore a false ceremonial beard strapped to the chin as a symbol of divine authority and power, whether or not they could grow one. Think about that. 3,500 years ago, the beard had already leapt from a biological signal to a political costume. That's the turn in this whole story. The beard started as something evolution did to you. It became something you do with meaning. Across history, it's meant wisdom in a philosopher, holiness in a priest, mourning in a widower's untrimmed grief, rebellion in one era and conformity in the next. The same patch of hair that once told a rival, "I'm dangerous," later told a congregation, "I'm devout," and told a king, "I'm chosen by God." One feature, and we loaded it with more meaning than almost any other part of the body. And that's the deeper idea hiding under your stubble. The human story isn't just about what we lost or kept. It's about how we take the raw signals evolution hands us and pour meaning into them until they mean something evolution never intended. A beard became a crown. Hair became identity. That is an extraordinarily human thing to do. So let's trace the whole thread fast. Around 2 million years ago, our ancestors shed their fur to survive the heat of the savanna, trading a coat for cooling skin. Somewhere in that same deep stretch, sexual selection kept the beard alive on the male face while the rest went bare. By Darwin's time, 1871, we finally had a theory for why. Around 3,500 years ago, pharaohs were strapping fake beards to their chins to borrow the power of the real thing. And this morning, just a few hours ago, you stood in front of a mirror and made a decision about that exact same patch of hair, whether to keep the signal or scrape it off. Every time you run your hand across your jaw, every time you decide to shave it or grow it out, you're making a choice about a feature that's been sending messages since before we were fully human. You're the newest person in a line, millions of years long, to wear it, read it, and decide what it means. We didn't just lose our fur. We turned the little we kept into language. So here's what I want to know. If you'd lived back when that beard was a warning instead of a fashion choice, would yours have made rivals back down, or would it have called a bluff you couldn't back up? Let me know down in the comments.